Morning everybody, it's Rob, Yoga Dad. Really pleased, delighted actually, that you've spared 15 minutes out of your busy days to join me for today's morning stretch. The end of our third week together. Maybe this is your first time with me. We've been to every single one of those sessions, however many times you've joined me. Really grateful for the fact you've taken this time out. Now the theme for this week has all been about being courageous. Now, as I said at the start of the week, being courageous can mean different things to different people. It can be about asking for help. It can be about sharing worries. It can be about trying something new, such as participating in this virtual morning stretch session that we have today. And so the important thing with being brave is almost understanding, where some of those maybe fears, worries, anxieties bubble up in our body, how we can become more in tune with those and deal with them in a really positive way. So even when I run these morning stretch sessions, I feel nervous myself, to be honest. I'm often having to run to the toilet beforehand, that kind of thing. It's just natural. And so we need to be aware of the fact that actually these kind of things just happen naturally, and we've just got to find a way to manage it and deal with it and control it in a really positive way for ourselves. Okay, so this morning's class will be a summary, a highlights package of the week's classes that we've gone through. And at the end, I'll just tell you a little bit about what's coming next. So we're going to start today back where we were on Wednesday. Slog's breathtaking speech, written by Michael Chiswick, illustrated by Sarah Peacock. Awesome book. If you joined me on Wednesday, I hope you really enjoyed that session. We're starting on the riverbank. We're there with Frog again. And he's really scared. He's got another speech coming up. Unbelievable. Another speech at Frog School. Again, all about breathing, and he's forgotten what he learned only a couple of days ago. And so we are going to be joining him on this adventure this morning, and we're going to be going through a few movements, and then we're going to meet in a couple of his friends and actually looking at a couple of different breathing techniques that his friends can tell us about to help him deal with those fears, worries, anxieties that he's got and enable him to deliver a confident speech at Frog School. Okay, so let's get started. Take our hands across our knees, just finding yourself in a comfortable seated position. Again, feel free to use a chair if that feels better to you, particularly if you've got any pains across the knees, that kind of thing. And we're just going to start with some hip rotations. Okay? So we just lean our body forward and then back in one direction. And just maintaining length along the spine as much as possible. And just really focusing on maintaining that space also across the chest. If we rotate in one direction, and then the other. Really feeling that length along the spine, and hopefully just start to ease any tension you might be experiencing across the hips, maybe along the inner thighs. And just really feeling that contact through the sitting bones, tailbone onto the floor. Okay, back round to centre. Remember which leg you got in front. Switch to the other one. Okay, same again. Hands across the knees. Let's rotate around. And this rotation can be as deep or as shallow as works for you. You want to keep it nice and shallow, just circling around like this, or that bit deeper, taking the whole body weight forward and really exploring that space that's available across the mid-body. Okay, let's bring ourselves back up into a neutral position again. If you want to, feel free to switch the legs back to the natural way for you in terms of cross-legged position. Now we're going to take our arms up and overhead. And as we do so, we really feel that length there all the way from the fingers down towards the hips. And we're going to fold forward on an exhale. And as we do so, I'll just switch around to the side just so you can see me. I'll just extend up again, fold forward, and pressing down through the palms to maintain that length all the way along the spine again, all the way down towards the hips, but also maximising that space across the chest again. I'm just going to slowly walk the hands forward to a position that feels good to me. It's good to me. And just tucking the chin down towards the chest can really just help maintain that length along the back of the neck. Now by pressing down through the outer edges of the palms, we can just allow the elbow creases almost to point up more towards the ceiling, and that just allows the upper arms just to rotate away from the shoulders and the ears, and just create that little bit more space across the collarbones. Now as we press down through the palms, really focusing on here, tilting the hips back towards the back of the room. And just really feeling that length, that space that you're now creating both along the side body and in the back body as well. Okay, walking the hands back in again. I'll stay in this direction. We're going to move on to an all fours position. So as we've done before, hands are out to shoulder distance apart underneath the shoulders and hips above the knees, pressing down through the palms, inhaling and exhaling, really to engage the abdominal muscles. And then we inhale to lift the crown of the head up, arching the spine, tailbone pointing up. Exhaling, pressing the palms down, rounding the spine, tucking the tailbone under. We'll do that 3 more times. And again, following the breath. Starting the movement each time. Start the inhale. And ending the movement each time you end the exhale. As best as possible anyway. 1 more. And then back down again. Bring the head back into a neutral position. And we'll just walk our hands back towards our knees now. I'm going to move myself around towards the front. Now I'm going to go into a kneeling position, because it feels comfortable to me. So I'm kind of sitting back, bum down onto the heels. But feel free just to take the legs out to the side. We'll go back to that kind of comfortable cross-legged position that we started in. So we're back to Frog. He's on the riverbank. He's feeling super scared about this speech that he's got coming up. Who should come along but Crocodile? It's Crocodile, and he's got an awesome way of breathing. And he told Frog about this on Wednesday, so he can't believe he can't remember it. And basically, the way that Crocodile learned to breathe is through the nose. So he breathes in through the nose and out through the nose, and it really helps him feel calm. So let's take our hands across our knees again, closing our eyes just for a moment, and just take a deep breath in through the nose, and then breathe out through the nose as well. Now if that feels comfortable, take the palms now across the belly. And next time as you breathe in, really feel the belly lift, belly expand, as the breath almost fills the palms. And each time you breathe out, empties back out again. And just going in your own time as you lengthen and deepen the breath. Really feeling that energy drawing into the body with each breath in. And the body softening, sinking down. Inviting calm into the mind and the body each time you breathe out. Nice soft gaze, opening the eyes. Awesome breath there, Crocodile. High five to you. Crocodile makes his way. Frog takes a note of it again. And off we go. So we're back to our all fours position. So again, hands out shoulder distance apart, hips above the knees. Now we're going to take our hips back, bum back towards the heels now. We're going to walk our hands forward. Extending out along the side body, pressing down through the balls of the feet, lifting our upper body forward, shoulders above the wrists, pressing down through the balls of the feet again as we lift our knees up, lift our bum up towards the ceiling, and we arrive in our first downward dog position. Now again, if this feels too strong at all, feel free just to do this, particularly if it's across the wrists. You can do this up against the wall. Otherwise, if you're in this position, this all fours position, then just start lifting one heel and then the other. So extend and lengthen all the way from the heels up towards the hips. Now bring the heels nice and evenly together, bending the knees, walking the hands back towards the feet, towards the back of the room, crossing the forearms over one another, bending the knees and allowing the upper body just to fall down, sink down towards the floor, crown of the head towards the floor, gazing back between the thighs. And you'll feel the sensation lengthening now along the back of the legs. But don't compromise the space, the length that we're creating along the spine as well. If it feels uncomfortable, particularly for the lower back, then just keep bending the knees until that feels like it's working for you. Now taking the hands back down towards the floor, almost like a waterfall, as we cascade the fingers down towards the floor in front of the feet. Walking the hands out now into our plank position. So again, let's lower our knees down first and just checking our position. Shoulders above the wrists, length along the back body, pelvis tilting forward, pressing down through the balls of the feet. Option now to lift the knees up off the floor. So really feeling the front body lifting up towards the ceiling. Abdominals engaging, so belly button drawing in towards the spine. And just holding that for a few breaths. Now for everybody, we now lower the knees down. Lower the chin down towards the floor, then the hips. Just walk that back a bit. Then we take ourselves into our back bend. So our elbows underneath the shoulders, palms out in front of us, toes untucked, pointing towards the back of the room, lifting our head up, gazing forward, opening up across the chest and the upper arms. And just continuing to breathe and really feeling as though the hips are sinking down towards the floor, and length along the back body, all the way from the back of the head down towards the heels. Now if this feels too strong at all, taking the elbows that little bit further forward than the shoulders, just to ease that back bend back down, front body more towards the floor. Otherwise, just keep deepening into this stretch. And slowly lowering the chin down towards the floor, hands now underneath the shoulders, elbows tucked in towards the ribs, pressing down through the palms. We're going to lift ourselves back up into the plank, either with the knees lifted or lowered, and then pressing down through the palms again. We're going to lift our bum up towards the ceiling, and we're back into our downward dog. Okay, so lifting one heel again and then the other, standing, lengthening along the back of the legs, and then bending our knees, taking ourselves back down into an all fours position, and tucking our toes, and taking ourselves back round to that kneeling position again. So option again, just to take yourself into a cross-legged, comfortable cross-legged position. Otherwise for me again, got my knees out wider than the hips, and this time I've got my hands across the knees. We're back with Frog. He's on the riverbank. He's already seen Crocodile. He had an awesome time with him, learned how to be calm through inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Now he meets up with Lion, my favourite breath of all. So Lion comes up to him and says, Frog, I've got the breath for you. This is the one that's going to work for your speech. And it's all about being able to find your voice and relax your jaw and ease tension that way. So what we're going to do is lengthen our spine, so real straight back, open up across the chest, going to relax our jaw down. We're going to look up towards the ceiling with our head straight ahead, okay? So raising the eyebrows up, we're going to stick our tongue out. See if we can touch our chin. Yeah? Let's just test that out just for a moment. Let's take our hands now either side. So it's shoulder height, elbows at shoulder height. And we're going to take a breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to go, ah. We're going to do that twice more, and each time it's going to be that a little bit louder. Okay, ready? Breathe in. Ah. That's feeling good. I'm feeling more relaxed already. Last one. Ah. Oh yeah, that one really hit the spot. I don't know about you guys. Okay, so Lion was just awesome there. He did a fantastic breath. I hope you love that one. High five to Lion. Off he goes. Frog takes a note of it, and he's ready for that speech now. Okay, so we take ourselves back into, actually not an all fours position this time. We're going to be in a seated position. So we're going to keep our knees bent, soles of our feet flat down to the floor, and we're just going to cross our forearms over our shins and lower our head down towards the, down between the knees and the thighs. And as we did earlier in that seated forward fold, really feeling that length, that space that we're creating now along the back body. The next time as you inhale, take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, pursing the lips and imagining you're blowing out through a straw and directing the breath between the legs towards the ground. Nice soft gaze, opening the eyes. We're now going to take our knees in and thighs in close to the body. And we're going to hug our shins with our forearms, okay? So lengthening along the spine, chest forward, and then we're going to tilt ourselves back as we lift our feet up off the floor. So we're going to be courageous here around how we can find our balance. From our Tuesday class, when we were looking at the boats, so imagining we're in a boat, sailing along the river, passing Frog on the riverbank. Now we're going to take our hands and bring them beyond our thighs, and we're going to start to lift our legs up. So still maintaining that length along the spine, along the back body, chest forward. Now option to stay here, or take the arms out either side of the legs. Still maintaining that length. Now final option, to start straightening the legs. And as you do so, still maintaining that length along the spine, chest forward and up towards the ceiling. Don't worry too much about toppling over. If you do so, just taking yourself back down again. Bringing the feet back down towards the floor. Arms out in front, palms towards one another, thumbs up towards the ceiling, chin tucked in towards the chest, and slowly start taking yourself down towards the mat in the legs. Rolling one vertebrae down at a time. Now extending the legs out, reaching the arms up overhead, really feeling that stretch all the way from the fingertips down towards the tips of the toes. And then lifting the right knee, lifting the right leg up off the floor and clasping the hands now around the right shin. You gently apply pressure to the thigh, right thigh in towards the upper body, and pressing away with the left heel, feeling that length now along the back of the right leg, and along the inside of the left. Elbows tucked in nice and close towards the ribs, and keeping the chest and the tops of the shoulders down, maximising that space for the breath to really support the release of the muscles in the lower body. Unclasping the hands away from the right shin, extending the legs out, extending the arms out again, great big stretch. And then we do the same with the left knee, left leg, up towards the upper body, posing forces of the right heel pressing away, left knee up towards the left shoulder, stretch along the back of the left leg, inside of the right, space across the upper body, shoulders settling down towards the floor. Unclasping that left shin, left leg alongside the right. One final stretch, big stretch, arms out overhead, all the way from the fingertips again down towards the toes. And bringing both knees in towards the chest and just rocking from side to side. A nice gentle massage now to close out the class for the lower back. And then taking the feet back down, extending the legs out, palms alongside the hips facing up towards the ceiling. And just settling in to this laying position. I'm really feeling that connection of the back body down towards the floor. But also the space, the length that you've created along the front body. Which we joined Frog on his courageous adventure this morning. And so I said at the start of the class, being courageous, it's not just about the big things, it's not just about jumping out of airplanes and that kind of thing. It's actually the small things that make the most difference. For this week, for children, for teachers, for parents, a lot of them will have been returning to schools. That's a really brave, courageous step that those adults and children have been taking. And for all of us during this time, there are different challenges that we face each day. So recognising those emotions that we experience when we're confronted by challenge, by those opportunities to be brave. And just recognising the way we can move and breathe and think in maybe a different way to achieve a positive outcome. And just taking a final couple of breaths in this laying position. Nice, slow, steady rhythm to the breath. And just start wiggling the toes and the fingers. Just feeling that movement. And then taking the arms back overhead again. Great big stretch all the way from the fingertips down towards the toes. One final time. Bringing the knees back in towards the chest. Hands around the shins and just rolling over onto one side. And taking yourself back up into a seated position. And there we are. The end of this morning stretch. Thank you for joining me this morning. Have an awesome day. Just to let you know, there's been 3 weeks of classes. They're all saved on the video section on Yoga Dad, so check them out anytime. All across different themes, different movements, different breath sequences, that type of thing. All about being kind to your body and mind and inspire others. Share these kind of classes with other people. Get more people involved. I'll be taking a break from the classes next week. It's been absolutely exhausting but exhilarating past 3 weeks. I'm taking a bit of a breather in the spirit of crocodile and lion, and I'll be taking the opportunity as well to put some of these classes up on YouTube too. So for those people that don't use Facebook, then they can find the classes elsewhere. And if you're free later on this morning between 10 and 11, I should be on BBC Radio Bristol again, talking a bit more about these morning stretch classes, some of the awesome things that I've been doing in the local community as well. So yeah, have a fantastic weekend. And if you've got any ideas for what you want to see for the future classes, pop me a message on the chat function or separately, and I'll see what I can do when I come back. Okay, take it easy. Have an awesome weekend. Namaste.